$5,592.20. Today we are going to fully break down everything that I have for my CNC, which honestly I think all the things that I have for my CNC quote-unquote need. And we're going to go through the list and just talk about all of it and what the real cost of owning a Onefinity is. Yes, you can probably do this cheaper than I did. A lot of ways you can. And some of the things that I have on this machine I already had. But I added those to the list of the cost of what they currently are, just to show you that the price of the Onefinity CNC machine is about half of what you're actually going to be spending. Let's start off and just talk about what I ordered from Onefinity themselves. So I ordered the Onefinity Journeyman X-50, the controller for the CNC, so the actual black box, the brains of the CNC, a 10-inch screen, 2 Moose Design starter set, a Sucket dust boot, the probe, and 12 months of Xcarve Maker Plus. The software that I chose, that was a few $100s just to start off with. I never even looked into one of the free programs. Look into one of the free programs. That's not an expense you're going to have very up front. That all came out to $3,719.20. That is shipping included. I think that the shipping might have actually been a little bit less, but my original order also included the Xbox remote as well as the frame. The frame that I ordered held the spoil board, and the spoil board was kind of integrated into it. And once they sent me a shipping notification for the machine itself, they said, hey, that's going to ship later. And I said, hey, let's cancel that, get that out of there. They said also that the Xbox remote that they were going to be sending me was going to be wired instead of wireless. At the time, they were out of those. And I said, hey, I'll just buy that on Amazon. Go ahead and mark those 2 things off the list. Send me everything you got. So they did, worked out great. That shipping might have been slightly less. I don't know if that was retotaled, but all of that together, $3,719.20. I bought a ton of USB drives. You might not need to do that, but I don't have Wi-Fi in my shop, and I'm just constantly going back and forth to the shop, to my house, to my computer, and doing all the design, so I've got a ton of those. So I put $30 for that, which I think is pretty reasonable. The Xbox remote, that is different than the controller, so you might hear me in my videos interchangeably say this controller. The controller in the CNC world is the brains of the machine. That is off to the side. It's already been bordered. We are talking about the Xbox remote itself. That was $50. The Makita router, $90, really depending on where you can get it. You can get it for cheaper than that some places, but $90, that's what it says on Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, all of these things that are available on Amazon, as well as the other things that I got off of Etsy, I'm going to have those listed down below. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. Dust collection. I have the Festool CT36. I think that's the designation on it. Right now on Amazon is $830. Do not buy that vacuum for this machine. I have that vacuum to run my track saw as well as my domino. I just have it on this machine because that is the dust collector that I have that'll work out for right now. Now that we're talking about dust collection, you can get into the Dust Right hose. That is $40 on Amazon. That is specifically this hose right here that I have running to my Onefinity unit. That Dust Right hose is $40. Now the Dust Deputy wall unit that I have, I got that for Christmas, but on Amazon that is $160. That has been super helpful for me. If you're getting one of these dust extractors that have bags in them, and especially if they take bags that only fit certain models, having that and just separating the dust away from the machine, it's been great. I haven't had any kind of loss in suction like I used to when the bags get full. That's been perfect. Highly recommend. I'm sure you can figure out a way to DIY that for considerably cheaper than $160. Now, the Rowdy Roman Boom. That is this contraption over here that is making it so that all the wires and everything are nice and compact and part of it. That was $70. That's off of Etsy, and that is sold by Rowdy Roman. The dust collector setup that I have is right around $1,100. I owned the majority of that stuff, specifically the extractor, so don't view that and think, oh gosh, I'm going to have to spend $1,000 on dust extraction. I think you can do that for around $500 and have a great system. You can do it for less if you just want to get a cheap-ass shop vac and do all that stuff. That can be done for a lot less money. Next, we will get into just a few of the miscellaneous things. I put in $5 for a power strip. Over there's tons of plugs, all kinds of stuff. Didn't really think about that when I was first ordering the machine. I guess I thought that it was just going to plug into the wall and everything would be contained, blah, blah, blah. That is not the case. I get a lot of questions about the dimensions of my table. It is 74 inches wide by 48 inches deep. That is perfectly fine for what I do. If I was to build an enclosure around this, I don't think that it would work out as well as it could. Onefinity dust boot right here, when it comes to the very front of the machine, it sticks off the edge and there's a little bit of an overhang. So if I were to build this again, which I'm hoping to in the future, I would make this probably 52 inches wide, and the 74, it's been perfectly fine for me. It's enough room on the edges where you can store a few things and not have to worry about things falling off or getting knocked off by the gantry. Now for the table, I put $100. Yes, this table is worth way more than $100, but for most people, you're gonna be doing a 2x4 construction with a piece of plywood up on top, calling it a day, and I really think that you should do that. You can spend $100 and have a fine table that you're never going to regret spending $100 on. One of the other things that I think is not really necessary for your build, but is a huge creature comfort, is the Rowdy Roman light. I will link that down below. He sent that to me for free. It is $60 on Etsy, and I would have bought it regardless if he wasn't going to send it to me for free. It's probably one of my favorite things on my Onefinity, and that's not a lie. If you buy a 6-pack of the 2-inch wide, big pack of the double-sided tape, that was $70. That was pretty expensive. 90% of what I do is with double-sided tape. I screw down bigger things when I have a lot of stuff on the CNC bed, but other than that, it's mainly just double-sided tape. Well worth it. I will continue to pay for that consumable, and yes, it is expensive. That's over $10 a roll, but long-term, super worth it for me. I use my Milwaukee box knife every single day. Whether it is that knife or another box knife, who cares? I use that every single day, and that is because of the double-sided tape. Now for the spoil board, I just am talking about the MDF. I just put in $40 for that. The nice part is you can buy a big sheet, you can cut up the strips that you need specifically for your bed, and then you can have a few extra on the side for in case you do need to replace one of the panels or all of them. The T-track for the spoil board itself was around $40, I believe, on Amazon. And that's what I marked down for it. And then I got some T-track clamps. I got 4 of them, and that was $18. So we haven't talked about bits yet, but the total of everything that I just mentioned without the bits is $5,342.20. Now that does include the 2 Moose Design starter bit set that I originally got from Onefinity. With the bits, that's where we climb up to the $5,592.20, because I have well over $250 worth of bits. That's something that I've become a little bit obsessive over. I have bought nice bits, I have bought crappy bits, I have bought bits from Harbor Freight, I have bought Amana bits. Most recently, I got my hands on the Jenny bits from Cody CNC Engraving. He's a member of the community, and we've been talking, and I think that's what I'm eventually going to be switching over to as my daily driver for the CNC. I'm actually doing a test on it right now, and everything's looking awesome. So once you start getting into the bit world, you can kind of get overboard, which I have. You do not have to spend $250 on bits. You do not have to have every bit made under the sun. I certainly don't. One day I will, but right now I don't. But with looking into bits, first think, what do I want to make? What are the first 3 projects I'm going to be making with my Onefinity or any other CNC machine? Look up the type of bits you need for those. Only buy those. Figure out why they're good, why they're bad, and then spend more money on other things later. I didn't pay for the light, I didn't pay for the dust collection, so, that's pretty much knocking off around $11.50, somewhere in there. So my actual cost in this is closer to $4,500. A lot of y'all are going to be in the same shoes when it concerns that. Y'all are going to already have a ton of stuff laying around your shop, so you're not going to be purchasing every little thing that you need. The very first time that I surfaced my spoil board, I grabbed a 1/2-inch bit that was just out of a crappy little router bit kit that I have, and it worked out fine if it wouldn't have dropped out of the collet, but that was a user error, not the bit's error. You can kind of get to the place where you're thinking, I need these things, I need these things, I need these things. And I'm a big proponent of having nice things, but I also am a huge proponent of understanding why you need those nice things. One thing that I mentioned in my Onefinity review that I really want to harp on here is if you cannot afford the things that you want to buy, don't buy them. Don't go out, put all this on your credit card and think, oh, now I've got this machine, it's going to change my life, everything's going to be fine, I'm going to be rich, it's going to be awesome. If you are a very driven individual who's going to make all these products and get it out into the market and really sell yourself, then yeah, it's going to pay for itself very quickly. If you're not, probably wouldn't put this on the credit card, because all of a sudden this $4,000 machine can turn into a $6,000 machine very quickly. That $6,000 can turn into $10,000. Credit cards are bad unless you know how to use them and are planning on paying them off. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Thankfully, I didn't have to spend all of it at the same time. And the machine, quite frankly, in 3 to 4 months that I've had it, has already paid for itself and a little bit more. That does not even consider the wood that I have purchased for this machine. I probably have already burnt through $3,000 just in lumber on the Onefinity. So know what you want, go out and buy it, have a ton of fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.